How would you react if your perception of reality is suddenly challenged, where you are then forced to accept that there could be another world that exists alongside our own? The following are two stories about people who were driving along a road and then momentarily found themselves in another reality with no scientific explanation as to what happened to them. Truck driver attacked by interdimensional entity. In September 1979, truck driver Harry Turner suddenly woke up in a parking lot, sitting in his truck at his destination at Fredericksburg, Virginia. However, he had no idea how he got there. The last thing he remembered was traveling along the highway from Winchester, Virginia, en route to Fredericksburg, Virginia. He sat there totally confused as to how he had found himself in this predicament. He looked to his side and found his handgun on the seat surrounded by empty shells, where for some reason he had fired off 8 rounds. As he sat staring at his gun, frightening memories came flooding back. He was driving along the road when a bright light came rushing towards his truck. Then all of a sudden the light had completely enveloped his truck. He then found he was no longer in control, and it felt as if something had taken control of his truck. As he sat there totally mesmerized by what was going on around him, the cabin door suddenly flew open, and he felt a strong force bearing down on his shoulder. It felt as if the powerful force was pinning him down in his seat. It was at this stage that he was able to grab his handgun and fire off 8 successive rounds towards the open cabin door. The entity that was forcing him down then released its grip, leaving him terrified and bewildered. Then he lost consciousness. When he awoke, he found himself sitting in the warehouse parking lot. He then checked his watch. That it showed it was 11 p.m, but the clock on the warehouse was showing 3 a.m. He had somehow lost 4 hours. He then checked his speedo and was shocked to find that he had only travelled 70 miles. But the journey between Winchester and Fredericksburg is 81 miles. Turner believed that he had entered a portal and had encountered an interdimensional being. The being had then grabbed him, where he was forced to defend himself by firing his gun. Harry Turner reported the incident to MUFON. Portal melts car. In 2008, a young woman was driving about 45 miles per hour along Lake Cook Road, Algonquin, Illinois, when a car suddenly lurched to the right. At the time of the incident, there were no other cars or pedestrians on the road. Despite being the only person on the road, she began to experience loud bangs around her vehicle, as if something was trying to push her off the road. The banging abruptly stopped, and the young woman stepped out of her car to inspect the damage. She then proceeded to walk around the car, and was shocked to find that the left side of the car was badly damaged. She reported the incident to the police, who on inspection had no explanation as to what could have caused the damage. He noticed that even though the car had been badly dented, the bodywork on her doors looked as though it had been melted by intense heat. There was no damage to the paint, and she had obviously not hit any other object, person or animal, as there was no blood, fur or feathers sticking to the bodywork. Authorities were totally baffled as to how the car was damaged. It is theorized that she could somehow have driven through a portal into another dimension, where loud noises appear to have opened and closed around her as she drove through it.